In a disturbing case that has drawn comparisons to the infamous Jodi Arias trial, 25-year-old Briley Turner of Indiana stands accused of murder following a brutal attack that left a man dead. The incident, which occurred on August 18, 2024, in Bloomington, Indiana, has sent shockwaves through the community and raised troubling questions about the nature of the crime and the potential defenses available to the accused. The victim, 36-year-old Michael Hodge, initially survived the vicious assault but succumbed to his injuries on September 11th, nearly a month after the attack. The Marin County Coroner's Office ruled Hodge's death a homicide, leading to upgraded charges against Turner, who now faces counts of murder, attempted murder, and aggravated battery. The events of that fateful August evening began to unfold around 7 p.m. when neighbors called 911 to report shouting coming from Turner's apartment. They described hearing both a man and a woman yelling, with at least one person crying out for help. When police arrived at the scene, they initially heard only loud music emanating from the apartment. However, as they approached, the sounds of screaming became audible, prompting the officers to force entry into the residence. What they discovered inside was a scene of unimaginable violence. Turner was found lying on the couch, covered in blood. To the officers' horror, they quickly realized that the blood coating Turner was not her own. In the bathroom, they found Michael Hodge on the floor, suffering from multiple stab wounds and in critical condition. The criminal complaint filed in the case paints a gruesome picture of the crime scene. Officers noted the presence of 3 potential weapons: a bloody plastic knife handle with a metal blade missing, a bloody black-handled tire plug tool with a metal spike, and a blood-stained baseball bat leaning against a wall in the main living room. The variety and nature of these implements suggest a frenzied and sustained attack. At the emergency room, doctors revealed the full extent of Hodge's injuries to investigators. He had suffered stab wounds to his chest, rib cage, neck, quad, and upper right buttock. Part of the knife blade was still lodged inside his body. Additionally, Hodge had sustained a broken arm so severe that a portion of the bone was protruding through his skin. Despite these troubling incidents, Kathy Griffith continued to support and believe in her son. She proudly posted about his achievements on social media, celebrating his early high school graduation and acceptance into college with 18 credits already earned. She even bought him a new car as a graduation gift. Photos on her Instagram showed them spending the 4th of July weekend in Washington, D.C. and touring the White House. However, beneath this facade of normalcy, tensions continued to simmer. In February 2024, Colin ran away from home after an argument with his mother. He was found at his grandmother's house in Polk County. At this time, he reportedly stated that he didn't want to go home and would use any force necessary to avoid it, including killing my mother. This marked the second time he had threatened to kill her. Despite these red flags, efforts were made to reunite Colin with his mother. By March 2024, they were living together again. However, the peace was short-lived. On September 6, 2024, just 2 days before the fatal incident, Colin and Kathy had another argument, leading him to flee to his grandmother's house in Polk County once more. On the day of the murder, September 8th, Kathy drove to Polk County to bring her son home. Witnesses reported seeing them arguing outside the house around 4:30 p.m. They then observed Colin grabbing his mother by the hair and dragging her into the house. This was the last time Kathy Griffith was seen alive. The case has left many questioning how such a tragedy could unfold despite numerous warning signs. Sheriff Grady Judd of Polk County didn't mince words in his assessment of Colin, stating, "When you look at this, you see a kid. When I look at him, I see a psychopath." The sheriff emphasized Colin's lack of remorse and his dangerous nature. Mental health experts, however, caution against quick labels. Dr. Daniel Bober, a forensic psychiatrist specializing in youth issues, suggests that while Colin's behavior is deeply disturbing, the situation is likely more nuanced than a simple diagnosis of psychopathy. He points out that at 17, Colin might be diagnosed with conduct disorder, which involves violating societal norms. If these behaviors continue into adulthood, it could develop into antisocial personality disorder. Dr. Bober also highlights the complexity of cases involving mentally ill or violent children and their parents. He notes that maternal instincts are very strong, and many parents are willing to put themselves at risk to protect and help their children, even when those children have been violent in the past. This devotion can sometimes cloud judgment and lead to tragic consequences. The case also raises questions about the effectiveness of mental health interventions and the justice system. Despite multiple incidents of violence and threats, Colin was repeatedly returned to his mother's care. The Baker Act, while designed to provide temporary intervention for mental health crises, may not have been sufficient to address the ongoing issues in this case. Furthermore, the dismissal of charges in his father's death is now being scrutinized. Sheriff Judd has been in contact with Oklahoma authorities, suggesting they may want to take a second look at Charles Griffith's death in light of recent events. As the case moves forward, prosecutors are seeking to try Colin as an adult for first-degree murder, kidnapping, and violation of a no-contact order. If convicted, he could face life in prison. This tragic case serves as a stark reminder of the challenges faced by families dealing with mental illness and violent behavior in children. It highlights the need for more comprehensive mental health interventions and support systems for both troubled youth and their families. It also underscores the importance of taking threats and violent behavior seriously, even when they come from our loved ones. The story of Kathy and Colin Griffith is a heartbreaking example of how love and hope can sometimes blind us to danger, and how the systems designed to protect us can sometimes fall short. As the legal process unfolds, many will be watching closely, hoping for justice for Kathy Griffith, and searching for lessons that might prevent similar tragedies in the future. In the end, this case leaves us with more questions than answers. How can we better identify and help troubled youth before violence occurs? How can we support parents who are struggling with violent children? And how can we balance the need for second chances with the imperative to protect potential victims? As society grapples with these questions, the memory of Kathy Griffith serves as a somber reminder of the potential consequences when we fail to find adequate solutions.